Hi, Phil the Bee Man here. Today we're feeding bees, and I thought I'd tell you a little bit about my feeder pails. This pail here is pretty much the standard in this part of the world. It's got this stainless steel screen, and when you put that pail upside down over the hole in the lid, the bees can get at that screen, and the surface tension of the syrup keeps it from leaking out too fast. The surface tension and then the vacuum that develops in the top of the pail. As the syrup comes out, the atmospheric pressure keeps it from running too fast. And these pails work great. This one is commercially made, and I don't know if it'll show up in the video, but what they've actually done is drill two very small holes and then melt this screen into the plastic over top. And then you fill it through this lid so that you never have to pry the lid off, and it's pretty easy. There are a couple downsides to this design. One is that when this is upside down, that cap is like that, and it never empties, and so you always got that little trickle of syrup still left in the pail, and then while they're in storage that absorbs moisture and eventually it ferments and gets moldy, and so you don't get a real clean empty pail. Other downside is these, by the time you get the pail and the screen, whether you put it on yourself or whether you buy it commercially made, it gets to be expensive. And so I've got a solution to that problem because I'm pretty thrifty. So I just take a pail I scrounge up from a bakery or a honey customer or a friend, and I take one of my employees called my shiv. This is actually just a screwdriver that ended up getting damaged, and so it really wasn't much use, and I took the grinder and sharpened it down to a point. If I'm ever in prison, I'll know how to defend myself. But I use it, I just poke maybe 3 or 4 holes in the lid, and then I'll put that on top of the hive. I'll do another one here. And then we'll just put it on the hive. And you can see that it'll run a little bit when we first start. Of course, the fact that I'm pressing on it doesn't help. And then that'll taper off. And before long, that'll stop. Already starting to taper off. So that those bees are hungry. They'll take that first shot of syrup, gobble it right up, and pretty soon it'll be to the point where it'll only come when they suck on it. So we just flip a pail over every hive. Over time, the bees will tend to, once that pail is empty, especially in the fall, they'll tend to propolize up those holes. So every time we put the pail, reuse them, you might just check and make sure there's at least one good hole there. Flip them over like that. It's that simple. This is a pretty cool spring, still early spring. It's easier to give every hive a pail than it is to check each one. When we get into them in detail in a couple weeks, we'll start making judgments about which ones need to be fed, which ones don't. The truth is, the ones that need to be fed will have empty pails, and the ones that don't need it will still have the syrup sitting on top. So that's an easy way to make sure all your bees are well fed. That's it for today. Thanks everyone.